podcast. Today we're going to draw on page 20, transforming linear functions. The most basic function is called the parent function. The linear parent function is f of x equals x. Function notation and type of transformation. F of x plus d is a vertical translation up d units. F of x minus d is a vertical translation down d units. F parentheses x plus c is a horizontal translation left c units. F parentheses x minus c is a horizontal translation right c units. Negative f of x is a reflection over the x-axis. F parentheses negative x is a reflection over the y-axis. A times f of x is a vertical stretch when the absolute value of a is greater than 1, and it's a vertical compression when the absolute value of a is greater than 0 but less than 1. F b of x is a horizontal compression when the absolute value of b is greater than 1, and a horizontal stretch for when the absolute value of b is greater than 0 but less than 1. All right, go ahead and finish reading up your notes. Let's take a look at the first example. Example 1. The graph of function f of x equals x plus 4 is shown. Graph two more functions in the same family for which the parameters being changed is a y-intercept b. All right, so let's graph g of x equals x minus 4. So we have g of x equals, now the number in front of x is 1, so that's 1 x minus 4. Okay, well, we know we can divide 1 by 1, so now we have our slope. Okay, this is our y-intercept of negative 4, so we have 0, negative 4. Okay, and then our slope is we go up 1 to the right 1. So we go up 1. Now, you have to be careful. These are counting by 2s, not 1. So this is technically negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5. So we go up 1 to the right 1, 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 up 1 to the right 1. Okay, so that's g of x. Okay, now let's graph h of x, and let's go ahead and do that in pink. Okay, so we have h of x equals, if there's not a number in front of x, we're going to put a 1, so that's 1 x plus 7. Now, we need slope to be rise over 1, so we're going to divide this by 1. So we start our y-intercept at 7, so 0, 7 is between 6 and 8, so 0, 7 is right here. And same thing, slope is up 1 to the right 1, so we go up 1 to the right 1, up 1 to the right 1, up 1 to the right 1. And that's h of x. All right, go and finish up example 1. All right, let's take a look at the next example. All right, example 2. Graph the function f of x. The graph of the function f of x equals x plus 4 is shown. Graph two more functions in the same family for which the perimeter being changed is the slope m and is greater than 1. So let's graph g of x in yellow. So that's g of x equals 3 times x plus 4. And remember, the number in front of x is slope, and slope is always a fraction, so we're going to divide that by 1. So we start our y-intercept at 4. Now, these are counting by 1, so 4 is right there. And the slope here is we go up 3 to the right 1. So we go up 1, 2, 3 to the right 1, up 1, 2, 3 to the right 1. Okay, and that is g of x. All right, now h of x. Okay, so h of x equals 4x plus 4. And remember, the number in front of x is slope, so we're going to divide that by 1. So we start our y-intercept at 4. We start at the same spot. But then our slope here is we go up 4 to the right 1. So we go up 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right 1. And that's h of x. All right, go and finish up example 2. All right, example 3. The graph of the function f of x equals x plus 4 is shown. Graph two more functions in the same family for which the perimeter being changed is the slope m and is less than 0. So again, we're going to graph g of x. So g of x equals negative 3x plus 4. Remember, this needs to be a fraction, so divide that by 1. So our y-intercept is 4, so we start at 4. And then we go down 3 to the right 1. Now, they're cutting by 2s, so technically this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we go down 1, 2, 3 to the right 1. 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 And that's g of x. All right, and then let's graph h of x in pink. So h of x equals, now that's technically a negative 1x plus 4. And divide this by 1. So we start our y-intercept at 4, and then we go down 1 to the right 1. So we go down 1 to the right 1, 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 down 1 to the right 1. Okay. And that's h of x. All right, go ahead and finish up example 3. All right, let's take a look at the next example. All right, example 4. Describe the transformation on the graph of the parent function. F of x equals x. The result in the graph of g of x. G of x is equal to negative x plus 7. The graph of the parent function is reflected across the y-axis and translated 7 units up. All right. Example 5. Describe the transformation on the graph of the parent function f of x equals x that results in the graph of g of x. G of x equals 5x. The graph of the parent function is stretched vertically, becomes steeper. All right, let's take a look at example 6. Describe the transformation on the graph of the parent function f of x equals x. The result of the graph of g of x. G of x equals 1/2 x. That should be a fraction right there. The graph of the parent function is shrunk and vertically becomes less steep. All right, let's look at the next example. Example 8. Describe the transformation on the graph of the parent function f of x equals x. The result of the graph of g of x. The graph of the parent function is reflected across the y-axis and is less steep. The graph is then translated 2 units up. All right. Example 8. Determine how changes in perimeters will affect the graph. Enter the new function. For large parties, a restaurant charges a reservation fee of $40 plus $20 per person. The total charge for a party of X people is f of x equals 20x plus 40. How will the graph of this function change if the reservation fee is raised to $70 and the per person charge is lowered to $11? If the reservation fee is raised to $70, the graph will be translated up, so the value of B is 70. If the person charged is lowered to $11 and the slope of the line becomes less steep, so the new function becomes g of x equals 11x plus 70. All right, go ahead and finish up that example. All right, example 9. All right, determine the changes in parameters will affect the graph. Enter the new function. The number of chaperones on a field trip must include one teacher for every 5 students, plus a total of 3 parents. The function describing the number of chaperones for a trip of x students is f of x equals 1/5 x plus 3. How will the graph change if the number of parents is reduced to 0? The graph will be translated at 3 units down if the number of parents is reduced to 0. How will the graph change if the number of teachers is raised to 1 for every 3 students? The graph becomes steeper than the graph of the parent function. The new function is g of x equals 1/3 x. Technically, it's plus 0, but when you put your answer into HOW, you're not going to put the plus 0. Okay? All right, go and finish up that example. All right, last example, example 10. All right, a book club charges a membership fee of $26 and then $18 for each book purchased. Enter a function to represent the cost y of membership in the club based on the number of books purchased x. So y equals 18x plus 26. Enter another function to represent the cost of membership if the club raises its membership fee to $37. So the function would be y equals 18x plus 37. Describe the relationship between the two functions. Both functions have the same value for m, but have different values for b. So this is the m value, this is the b value, this is the m value, this is the b value. So same m values, different b values. All right, go ahead and finish up your examples, start working on your HRW assignment, and have a wonderful Wildcat day.